Ladies and gentlemen, it's a tremendous honor to be here in this beautiful shul. I didn't realize it's a beautiful shul like this. I thought it's like a little house. It used to be, but now it's Bnei Nara. Thank God, very, very beautiful. Anyways, so the truth is I have somewhat of a busy schedule, but I've known Elazar for 15 years. Elazar, how long do we know each other? 15 years, and he's been asking for a while to come, give a shul, come in, please, this. I always push him off. But my heart said this time I got to say yes, maybe to be inspired together with Hashem. And Bemet, I'm very impressed by this beautiful structure. To you, your Chavrim, whoever's involved with it, Bemet, you should keep up the great work, and the shul should be packed, and you should keep inspiring people with Hashem Yitbarach. In any event, I was trying to figure out what to speak about. And, you know, Pesach is coming up. Everyone likes Shalom Bayit, everyone likes Chinuch Yiladim, current events. So I said we'll do a little bit of everything, so we could hopefully touch upon every segment of the population, the people that are here, anyone that's watching, so we could all be inspired together. You know, right now we're already over 6 months since October 7th, since Simchat Torah massacres that took place in Eretz Yisrael. It's very hard to believe how this even happened. Such a security breach. You're talking about the great intelligence of the Israeli army allowed Hashem Yishmo so many terrorists to penetrate through, and they murdered so many people. So many traumatized for life, Chas v'Shalom, injured, kidnapped. It's unreal. I'm sure all of you that were in shul that day and you heard about it, you said, it can't be, right? It's hard to believe how this happened. And there's a lot of question marks that need to be answered. But it's definitely a message from Shamayim. The question I want to discuss with you for a few moments, the question I want to ask you guys for a few moments is, what can we do from 5,000 miles away, 6,000 miles away? What can we do for our brothers and sisters in Israel? Pray. What does it mean to pray? What is our obligation sitting here in Queens, New York, for the people in Eretz Yisrael? So, Rabotai, I want you to listen very carefully. You know, the wisest of all men, who is the Chacham Mikol Adam? You said yourself? What did you say? I thought you said you. Anyways, Shlomo HaMelech, the wisest of all men. You know, if I ask you, how many languages do you speak? How much? 2.5. 2.5. Anyone for 3, 4? How much do you speak? Yaakov in the back. 2.
Sign language.
Sign language. Okay, so I'm 2. If, ladies, anyone? How much do you speak? Yoni in the back. 2. No one for 3 or 4? 4? What 4 do you speak?
Spanish, Hebrew, Bahari, Russian.
Wow, Spanish too?
Bahari, a little, so 4.5.
Fair enough. Okay, so now you've been thinking, wow, it's a Gaon, what a genius, right? You know, Shlomo HaMelech spoke all the languages and he even understood the animals. You know, some of you say, I can't understand my husband or my wife. You know, he understood animals. When a dog was barking, he knew exactly what he was saying. When the bird was chirping, he knew exactly what the bird was chirping. Ad kedei kach, he understood all the chokhmah, all the wisdom of all the plants. This plant, good for your eyes. This one, good for your liver, for your lungs, for your heart. He had all the wisdom in the world. So one time, Shlomo HaMelech has Siamese twins that came to him with a question. You know what Siamese twins are, right? You have one body and then you have a protrusion on top with 2 heads. Hashem Yishmo. Now what was their question? He said, Shlomo HaMelech, our father just died, and we want to know how to break up the inheritance. Are we one person or 2 people? Right? How does it work out? Because let's just say they have a few other brothers, right? So now, are they considered a total of 4 brothers or 5 brothers? How do you consider them? You get double portion or 1 portion? So Shlomo HaMelech says, okay, very good question. And he does the following test on them. He tells one of his servants, do me a favor, get me a cup of hot water and a towel. He gets it, he puts a towel over the head of one of them. Then he takes the cup of hot water and he pours a little drop on the other. And he hears, ouch, coming from both of them. He said, if you both felt the pain, then you really won. Now they're obviously very upset. Couldn't you keep quiet? You could have got double portion, right? But if you feel the pain, you're won. The Chachamim tell us, when it comes to a relationship, when it comes to Am Yisrael, when it comes to you and your children, if you feel each other's pain, then you're one. But if it doesn't bother you, then you're not. If your husband or wife is in pain, and you walk by your wife, and it doesn't bother you, something's missing in you. If Am Yisrael is in pain in Israel, and we're living as if nothing happened because Baruch Hashem, we're protected here, there's something missing in Am Yisrael. So now, how do we feel their pain? What does it mean to feel the pain of the people in Eretz Yisrael? How do we do that? So Rabbi, listen very carefully. You see, I'm sure all of you have family or friends that are in the Israeli army. You live in Israel, it's part of the... So, we don't realize what it means to be in the army today. Those 19, 20-year-old boys, you have a few, if you guys probably 19, 20, 21 years old, right? If you were in Israel not learning in yeshiva, you were in the army today. You would be in Gaza. You would be in different parts, which could, God forbid, be a tremendous danger to your life. Every step you take could be the last step you ever take. If your parents are not sleeping at night because they know you're in there, if you're married, your wife is not sleeping at night. This is tremendous, tremendous tzad. So, what does it mean we have to feel the pain? I feel bad for these soldiers, but what does it mean? I feel bad for the people in the north that aren't in the house, but what does that mean? God forbid someone is sitting Shiva. You sit Shiva for 7 close relatives. Father, mother, brother, sister, son, daughter, spouse. If a person sits Shiva for them, you ever think about it? Like, why? You sit on the floor. You don't take a shower for a full week. People have different customs of not shaving, not taking haircuts, not changing their clothes. Hashem Yishmael. Why do we go through all this? What, the person dies and we have to sit down and go through this? What's the secret behind it? So that Kabbalah teaches us there's something in the spiritual realm of transferring someone's pain to someone else. Meaning, Joe Schmo died. His son, his brothers are sitting Shiva. They're sitting on the floor, they're not showering, they're not taking haircuts, they're not cutting their nails. They're basically saying, Hashem, I don't want Joe Schmo that died to get extra pain in Shamayim, so we're taking some pain on ourselves. We're going to take some pain for this first 7 days, and then certain pains for 30 days. Please minimize the suffering this neshama would have. You're saying, let me take some of the tzar away from him. Same concept could be while you're alive. You know, there's a concept that we see in the Torah, elef lemateh, elef lemateh. What does that mean? When they used to go out to war in the times of the Torah, in the times of David HaMelech, you know what they did? Every soldier had a person learning for his zechut. So if you go out to war, Elazar, there'll be one of the yeshiva guys, okay, Elazar ben what? He sits down, takes your name, and he's mamash learning and praying for you. But how should he be learning and praying for you? You see, I could sit here and read Tehillim, blah, 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 blah. I could sit and read Tehillim and say, you know what? This guy that's going in, he could be my brother. What if it was my own son? What if it was my own relative? How am I going to read Tehillim? How are you women going to read Tehillim if it was your own husband or brother or a relative that was in the army? That's how you should read Tehillim while you're here. Even though you don't know them. Take that extra pain. Put your extra effort into it. For example, giving tzedakah could be hard. Could be hard. Break yourself. Give extra tzedakah for the zechut of Am Yisrael in Israel. Learning Torah, Rabbi, we like lectures. We don't like to sit down and learn Gemara. We don't like learning halachot. You have to break your head. Break your head. Say, Hashem, I'll take extra pain. Learning Torah to take away from their pain. When you want to say Lashon Hara about someone, something very juicy, right? It's a very juicy steak. And you want to say it, you want to hear it. This guy is shakran, ramai, ganav. And you're sitting there, you're hearing it. Say, hey, I don't want to hear it. What do you mean no? Say, I'm doing this for the zechut of the chayalim. Lashon Hara destroys Am Yisrael. Many times when people say Lashon Hara, which means the truth, they also do Motzi Shem Ra. They're saying a lot of lies. Say, I'm not interested. You can talk to the wall as much as you want. I don't want to hear it. You have a problem? Bring this guy to the room. I'll sit down with him. Us three, let's go. Suddenly you see all those guys running away. Say, for the zechut of the soldiers, for the zechut of Am Yisrael, I'm not going to listen. It's hard for me not to listen because it's destroyable. Who doesn't like to hear good, juicy information? But for their zechut, I'm going to stop. How many people you have in your family or in your community that you don't talk to? He doesn't talk to his mother-in-law, he doesn't talk to his neighbor, he doesn't talk to his sister, he doesn't speak to this, he doesn't speak to that. So I'm going to break myself and I'm going to make shalom before Pesach with that person. For the zechut of Am Yisrael in Israel. For the soldiers. I'm going to go extra mile and have pain. For them to have less pain. Everyone has hard mitzvot or hard avirot. If you want to bemet care about them, do something that breaks you. It's a little bit hard. But this is how Kol Yisrael Arabim are connected. The connection is not by me sitting down and watching CNN and watching Yediot Achronot to see what's going on in Israel. That's not called being connected. Connecting means I'm going to do something extra. I'm going to break myself to do this mitzvah. It's hard for me. It's difficult. I'm going to do it for their zechut. Rabotai, besides this, you should know, it's very interesting. You know what Yamach Shemam, the terrorists, call this war? They have a name for it. מה קוראים? אתה יודע מה קוראים לזה? What do the Hamas call this war? Al-Aqsa flood. What's Al-Aqsa flood? You know the Temple Mount. Today you have the Golden Dome, and then you have on the side, to the south of the Western Wall, you have I think it's copper, right? That's the area where the Bet HaMikdash was. This is where the Kodesh Kodeshim was. This is the holiest place in the world for us. Har HaBayit, the Temple Mount, right above the Kotel HaMaravi. I always tell people, my Yetzer Hara in Israel is that I want to go up there. According to Halakha, according to our Poskim, you cannot go up to Har HaBayit. This is a discussion where you could, where you can't, so we don't go anywhere. But in my heart, I'm like, I want to go stand by the area where Abraham Avinu did Akedat Yitzchak. I want to be in the area where the Bet HaMikdash stood. First Bet HaMikdash, second Bet HaMikdash. You know what? Unbelievable. But we can't go up there. So the most you can do is, you can see it from a distance. Or if you go to the Arab Shuk, in the cotton market, you can go all the way up to the stairs. And you're literally, standing right next to Har HaBayit. The closest you can get to it is right there. So, what was in the Bet HaMikdash? Bet HaMikdash wasn't a theater. Kacha, you're sitting, you're chilling, you're having a good time, having sushi. Bet HaMikdash was a serious place of kedusha, of prayer, of korbanot, of so much avodah. But it's interesting, the Kohanim had special status. Any Kohanim over here? None? Not yet? Levi. Right? No other Kohen over here? No? So, the Kohanim had very special status. What was the first thing the Kohen did when he entered the Bet HaMikdash every morning? What was the first service? Rabotai, if you would think Kohen comes in, you have people waiting online. Kohen, bוא תברך את הילדים שלי, come give me ברכה, רפואה שלמה, give me this, give me that, והצלחה. He walks in, his first job is clean up all the ashes from the previous days. Voila, ma, Kohen has to do this. answer is? Hashem is saying, you know the Kohanim Baruch Shem HaKadosh. Sometimes when you have such stature, what happens? You have a little bit what? Gava, a little haughtiness. I'm there. So Hashem says, come over here. First thing in the morning, you come and clean up a little bit. How many times does it happen? You come home from work, you made a good business deal, you feel like you're $1 million. You walk in, Elazar, come, throw out the garbage. Throw out the garbage. You know who I am? Maybe Hashem is saying, hello, relax, be a little bit more humble. If your wife tells you, come, help me clean up this, help me change the diapers, don't take it personally. Baruch Hashem, Yishtabach Shemo. Especially now that Pesach is coming up, it's not beneath your dignity to help out. Rabbi, don't worry, I got my wife, she has maids, everything's taken care of. You should know, for a man to clean up for Pesach, it says if you clean up when you're sweating and it's hard, that Hashem takes that sweat that you have and He erases some of the worst averot that you did. So tell the cleaning lady, you go sit down, I'll do some of the scrubbing. In other words, don't feel like it's beneath your dignity. Nothing is beneath your dignity.
You sweat, the better thing.
Huh?
You sweat, the better thing.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. You're sitting in your office with nice air conditioning, as a sweat. Anyways, so this is something that a person has to take into his life, to do service that's associated with a mitzvah, getting ready for Shabbat, for Yom Tov. It's not beneath it, it's not something to be embarrassed about. Roll up your sleeves, ta'azor, help out. It's for your benefit. But I'll tell you something even more amazing. We're talking about Bet HaMikdash. We're sitting here in a Bet HaKnesset. It's a new shul, so I think it's good for everyone to know this right now. It says, in the Navi, Yechezkel says this. After Hashem threw us out, we went through so much tzarot. And throughout our history, we've been thrown out of Israel so many times, and then Babylonia, and then we had here, and then went there, and then Spain, and then Europe, and then America. A lot of things will happen to Am Yisrael. But when we're about to be thrown out of Eretz Yisrael, we're about to leave the holiest land in the world. Hashem says, I'll be for them a small mikdash, a small sanctuary, in the lands in which I will spread them out. Even though I spread you out amongst the goyim, I'll give you a minor Bet HaMikdash. What's a minor Bet HaMikdash? You're sitting in one right now. Anywhere in the world. Hashem says the Shekhinah will be there. To make you understand what the shul is, I want you guys to understand what it is. The Midrash is something phenomenal. Not just this shul, any shul. You should know this. Says the Midrash, Kedushat Bet HaKnesset Kedushat Bet HaMikdash. The holiness of a shul is like the holiness of a Bet HaMikdash. Why? Ki bechurban Bet HaMikdash, when the Bet HaMikdash was destroyed, nitpazru avnei kodesh bechutz laaretz. A few months ago, maybe a year or two ago, there was a tremendous fire in Canada. What happened to the skies here in New York? Do you remember? Smoke, orange, right? You saw that? Well, Canada to us. Yes, that's the kind of impact it had. Says in Midrash, when the Bet HaMikdash was destroyed, pebbles of the Bet HaMikdash spread all over the world. ובכל מקום בעולם שבו נפלה אבן, anywhere where a stone of the Bet HaMikdash fell, שם נתקדשו לבנות בהם בית הכנסת. Over there was a zechut to build a Bet HaKnesset. That means somewhere in this building there's a little piece of the Bet HaMikdash over here. But what's the condition? That you keep the kedusha of the Bet HaKnesset. Says the Chatam Sofer, if you're going to keep the kedusha of the Bet HaKnesset, give it the proper respect, then when you're sitting here in Queens, New York, you're actually in Israel. But once people don't give the kavod to the shul, whether it's people making jokes in the shul and talking business in the shul and they're having dancing in the shul and they do other things against halakha in the shul, then you're taking away the kedusha of the Bet HaKnesset. Chaval. So this is relatively new. Make it. You want to speak business? Quickly, here's a door over here, another door over there. Do your business and come back inside. Kirat Torah, in some shuls, people are talking. Say, Rabotai, you want to talk? We're not against it. Just quickly step outside. When you're done, come back inside. Give this, and any shul that you guys go to, give it the proper kavod. Realize that Bet HaKnesset is Mikdash Me'at. For all you Israelis, you know there's a minhag in Israel that when someone passes away, Ba'alvayat Hamet, when they have the levaya, the funeral, what do? Molechim et haniftar mibeto lebet hakvarot. They take the deceased. They start, Yeah, Minhag Yerushalayim, take it from the house to the bet kvarot. But where do they stop first? They stop first liad Bet HaKnesset shitpalel sham, or they start from the shul. Right? Now, why would they have a levaya starting from the shul? Go to Schwartz Brothers, I don't know what. Go to one of these funeral homes. Why was there a minhag to stop by the shul? You know what the reason is? This is what the reason is. This way, when the niftar, the deceased is standing, his body is by the shul, all the zechuyot come to him. The tefillot, v'kadish, v'brachot, amen yeshmei rabah, kol halimudim shelamad. All of that spirituality comes to his benefit in Shamayim. So he's close to the shul where he did all these mitzvot. But, says the Chachamim, im chas v'shalom, היה מדבר שם דברים בטלים, עושה שם עבירות, מחלוקת, צעקות, לשון הרע, אוי לו ואוי לנפשו, woe to him. Why would you want to bring his body to the shul? Or near the shul? Take him a whole far away from there. Rabotai, the Bet HaKnesset, you should be particular. Let's give it the proper kavod. Give it the proper respect. Because this is a little bit of a Bet HaMikdash. This is how we should do it. Like I said, not just this new place. Anybody that you have around the world, make sure you guys give it the proper kavod. But ultimately, let's be realistic. We're not looking for just living in our Bet HaKnesset here in Chutz La'aretz. We want the Bet HaMikdash back. And the question is, how do we get it back? How do we get Eretz Yisrael to be in peace? To not have any machloket and all the milchamot and all the wars and Hashem Yishmor. No one wants it. Not for us, not for anybody. What's the key for Am Yisrael to succeed? I want to share with you an idea or two. And then Bezrat Hashem will say one more point about Chinuch Eladim. Listen very carefully. Morasha, what does Morasha mean? You're Israeli, נכון Asaf? מה זה? More than inheritance. What's Morasha? Yoni, what do you say? Morasha means, Yaakov, you know? Yosef Chaim, you know what it means? You Tzaddik, you know? In the back, anyone? Morasha means heritage. Yerusha means inheritance. The question is, what's the difference between the two of them? Second point, you look in the Torah, if you Google the Torah, the word Morasha appears only twice. One time it says by Israel, the land of Israel is our Morasha, our heritage. Another time it says, what? Torah tziva lanu, Moshe Morasha Kilat Yaakov. The only two times the word Morasha, heritage, appears in the Torah, the word Morasha. What's the significance? So, Rabotai, listen carefully. You see, when someone, God forbid, passes away, Shimon passes away, he left 4 children in the world. 4 boys. He had property in New York, he had in Florida, he had in Israel, he had money in the bank, he had the gold, this, that. Now, what happens to that money? His children inherit this money. They can take the building, it's a Yerusha. They could sell it, they could invest it, they could take the money, they could give it to tzedakah, they could go, whatever they want, it's theirs. They do as they wish. Why? It's their Yerusha, it's their inheritance. The father died, now it's us that are able to enjoy the fruits of his labor. However, says the Torah, says God, says Hashem, the Torah itself is not Yerusha, it's not your inheritance, it's Morasha. It's a heritage. What does that mean? Heritage means the way it was given is the way it must be kept. It's not for you to change it. Say, listen, 2024, let's change the rules of marriage, let's change the day of Shabbat, let's change the kashrut, let's do this, let's do that. No, it's not your Yerusha, it's not your inheritance. The Torah is your morasha, it's your heritage. The way it came originally is the way we're keeping it forever. Torah tziva lanu Moshe morasha, lo Yerusha, morasha kilad Yaakov. That's the job of Am Yisrael. If we're going to keep the Torah as morasha, then what's the other morasha written in the Torah? Eretz Yisrael will be our morasha as well. But as long as our Torah is on morasha, then Eretz Yisrael is what we have today. So Rabotai, if we have a mission, some mitzvot I always say are a little bit hard. I agree with you. Some averot are also a little bit hard to hold back. But what? Adam la'amal yulad, you're here to work. You put your effort into it. When you work out, no pain, no gain. Right? Same thing over here. Lefum tzara agra. The more pain you have, the more reward you get. If you have a guy that sits and he learns, he finishes 10 pages of Gemara every week. Another guy does 10 pages a year. Who gets more reward in Shamayim? Trust me, the guy that's breaking his head gets much more. Because in this world we look at quantity. Over there Hashem looks at quality. Look how much time, how much effort he has to put into it. So Rabotai, if it's hard, Chazak Baruch, keep trying. Keep going for it. Because Eretz Yisrael is dependent on the Torah. We take care of his morasha, we'll have that morasha as well. Now speaking of inheritance, for those of you that have children, we read in the Haggadah Shel Pesach something very interesting. How many types of children do we talk about in the Haggadah? Keneged Arba'a Banim Dibra Torah. The Torah speaks corresponding to 4 different children. Echad Chacham, one is wise. Everyone here is Baruch Hashem wise, right? Echad Rasha. Baruch Hashem, none of us. Echad Tam. Ve'echad She'en lo yishov. So we have a wise person, a wicked person, simpleton, and then one that doesn't know how to ask a question. Mamash, he sits there, mamash, looking like a stone-faced. These are the 4 types of children. Now I have a question for you, Rabotai. The Torah and the Chachamim, the Mishnayot, the Gemara, they're very quote-unquote cheap on words. What does that mean? There's no extra words in the Torah. There's no extra word, and if something looks like it's extra, the Chachamim are trying to figure it out. So watch this. They're telling us there's 4 types of children. One is Chacham. Echad Chacham. One is Chacham. Echad Rasha. Echad Tam. Echad She'en lo yishov. It says the word Echad prefacing each child. Imagine I have 4 workers. I could say I have 1 American, 1 Israeli, 1 Mexican, and 1 Chinese. Or I could say I have 4 workers, American, Israeli, Mexican, and Chinese. You have to say the word 1 prefacing each nationality? No. So why does the Haggadah say 1 is like this, 1 is like this, 1 is like this, 1 is like that? So he's telling us every child is an individual, he's special in his own ways. Don't compare one child to the next. Beautiful. Emet V'Yativ. I'm going to give you a different explanation today. The word Echad is Gematria what? Aleph, 1, Chet, 8, Dalet, 4. How much does it come out to? 13. So it says the word 13, Echad, how many times? 4 times. Echad. So 13 times 4 is what? 52. What's 52? 52 is Kiminyan Ben. Ben means child, son. The significance of this is 1 Ben, 1 child.
Is it boy or girl?
It means child, really. Okay, to be defined as child. 1 child could be all 4 at different stages of his life. Not that there's 4 different sons. 1 son could be all 4. That means, he's 6, 7 years old and say, my son's in yeshiva, the next Rav Ovadia Yosef. You see him, he comes home, he's praying, he's this, he's that. Peter gets a little older, no man, he's not interested. Niyatam, okay, he'll be a good Jewish businessman, B'ezrat Hashem. He becomes a teenager, he starts getting aggressive, hanging out here, hanging out there, right? And then he wants to do tshuva, doesn't even know how to ask a question, doesn't want to come back to you. We see how one child could be all four. So the Chachamim are telling us, echad, to tell you, yes, like you're saying, that each child is individual, but we're saying, even if you only have one, that one could have different phases of life. And the most important thing is to know how to communicate. I always say, if you want to have true shalom bayit and true connection to your kids, it all comes down to communication. If you don't communicate with your kids, chaval al hazman. You don't communicate with your spouse, chaval al hazman. You don't communicate with your parents, whatever it is that you have in your life, if there's no communication, there's problems. You know, in Hebrew, how do you say happy in Hebrew? Happiness. Simcha. How do you say family in Hebrew? Mishpacha. Everyone wants to have simcha in their mishpacha. Happiness in their family. Right? Is that, ladies, am I right or wrong? Simcha in mishpacha? Guys, yes? So what's the key to have simcha in mishpacha? If I come along and I give you a wife, I tell her, here, your husband's getting you a large swimming pool in the backyard, 6 vacations a year, right? And he'll buy you all the jewelry you want. Is she going to be happy, yes or no? She'll be materialistic. What she'll have a happy moment, or she'll have several happy moments. That's not happiness. What is happiness? So look, you take the word simcha, you take the word mishpacha, right? In the back, help me out over there. You speak Hebrew, no, in the back? She also does? K'tzat. If you look at the word simcha and mishpacha, you'll notice, help her out, okay? You'll notice that the same exact letters. But mishpacha has one extra letter. What's the extra letter mishpacha has? What? The letter pei. The letter pei. You know why? Because if you want to have simcha, happiness in mishpacha in your family, what does it come down to? Come down to your mouth. It comes down to your mouth. That's all it is. It's not about the gifts and not the jewelry. It's about giving proper communication, compliments, and there's nothing wrong with criticizing. It has to be constructive. To tell someone you're stupid, you're slow, is not right. To say a smart person like you could do better, that's the way to do it. If you tell your child criticism in a negative fashion, you're destroying him or her. You tell them in a constructive fashion, you build him or her up. The whole holiday of Pesach that we're reaching, B'ezras Hashem, is all about the peh. All the mitzvot is peh. You have Pesach, right? You have Haggadah, you have to tell over the Haggadah. You eat the matzah, you eat the maror, right? You eat the karpas and you drink the 4 cups of wine. It's all about the peh. This is the time to start working on your mouth. This time of the year, Rabotai, the month of Nisan, the holiday of Pesach, to work on your mouth. The way you communicate to your family members. The way you communicate to your relatives, to your neighbors, to your co-workers. Doesn't matter who it is. Learn how to be speaking like a mensch, like a Yehudi. No aggressiveness, no cursing, no insulting. That's not the derech of Am Yisrael. So, Rabbi, I have a hard time. Good, so this is the time to start. And you tell yourself, I'm going to do this. It's hard for me. For the zechut of who? Of our soldiers, of our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael. This is what's going to give us miracles, Rabotai. We're having a hard time finishing the war to find the hostages. We think it's kochi v'otzei medi. No, it's not, Rabotai. It's all about our observance of mitzvot. So there's one message I tell you tonight, B'ezras Hashem, is that we have to work on our peh. We have to feel the pain of other people, like we said. To feel the tzar. And how do you do it? By giving yourself extra tzar to hold on to Torah and mitzvot. The Torah is not our Yerusha, it's not our inheritance, it's our morasha, it's our heritage. And that's how you have to live it, that's how you have to work on it. And B'ezras Hashem grow through this concept of making the Torah my lifestyle. So B'ezras Hashem, I really hope we can all take this message to heart. And Kodesh Baruch Hu should bless all the members of the shul and all the atzars that came over to B'ezras Hashem, have a Chag Hashem v'sameach, to have true simchat ha'chaim, to have simcha in the mishpacha B'ezras Hashem. We should get together for simchot, and very, very soon we should be zocheh legeula shlema. B'mira b'yameinu, amen ve'amen. Rabotai, if anyone has a question, I'll give you guys 5 minutes for questions, Rabotai. Ilchot Pesach or any random topics.
Rabbi, if somebody's traveling before Pesach, what's the rule? Just sell the house and that's it?
So let's just say I'm going to go to Florida for Pesach, right? I'm going to rent out Airbnb there for 10 days, whatever, a week and a half, and I'm leaving before Pesach. What you could do is, you fill out the documents where you appoint the rabbi to sell the chametz to a goy. You make sure the place is locked up, and then the Airbnb becomes your house of Pesach. You do the chametz over there, make sure there's nothing there, and you run your household as needed.
It's not necessary to clean.
No, not necessarily. Now, if you or your family members want to use the house, to come into the house, then yeah, you should take all the chametz and lock it up in a certain area of the house, in the kitchen, in the base, wherever you have. And this way, at least the area where your family members are going to enter is going to be chametz free. You understand? And then when you sell the chametz, you only sell the chametz that are in the closets or in the cabinets, wherever you put it.
And the vehicles, do you put that in the contract too?
Right. So if a person is not going to use his car at all, he's not going to use it at all for Pesach, you can put in the contract as well to sell that as part of the Mechirat Chametz. The car also is part of the sale, office as well. And if, however, you are going to be using your vehicle, you have to do B'dikat Chametz in your car. I mean, just like you do B'dikat Chametz in your house with a candle or a flashlight, after you're done with your house, you quickly go to your car, you double check. I'm sure you probably go to the car wash, but you double check, make sure nothing is stuck over here, nothing is over there, right? To make sure you have no chametz in your car as well. Any other questions, Rabotai? Wow, mamash kulam tzadikim, but no questions.
How do you kosher the cooktop? The cooktop you have at home?
The stovetop?
The stovetop you have.
Right.
Because sometimes I take bread and pita and put it on.
Right.
How do you kosher something like
Yafet. So Rabotai, you should know, the general rule for koshering your kitchen utensils, the Gemara in Avodah Zarah teaches us, teaches us very simple. It's kebolo kach polto. Right. The way it swallows, the way it spits. That means, for example, I'll give you an example. Imagine you have over here, here's a cup. This is a pot. Okay? This pot, you see there's water inside, I'm making inside chicken soup and I'm putting in croutons and different chametz. So now, when you put it on the fire, what happens is, the metal absorbs the taste of whatever is being cooked. In this case, it's chicken along with chametz. So now, this pot has officially become chametz. So how do I kasher it for Pesach? Kebolo, the same way it became chametz, kach poto, that's how it spits out the chametz. Meaning what? It became chametz through a medium of water. There's liquids inside here. So to make it kasher, I take a big pot, fill it up with water, turn on the fire. Once it becomes bubbly hot, I take this pot, I dip it inside for 2-3 seconds, take it out, and some people customarily put a little bit of soap inside. It takes care of other halachic issues. You take it out, you wash it for a second, you're good to go. This is how you do all your pots. So in terms of the grates where you put the pot on top, the tripod, how does it become chametz usually? The normal way. Ishpach lecha macaroni, you're making macaroni and the water spills over it, and this spills over, and that spills over, like you said. Yeah, so that's not the common way of doing it. Usually you have foods being cooked on it, right? So therefore, all you have to do is, you have two options. Option number one is turn on the water, the fire on the pot, and dip it inside the pot while it's boiling hot. Or you can take boiling hot water and spill it over it. But first you clean it up very well. Yeah. Some people customarily, after I do in my house, we cover it up with silver foil afterwards.
Is it necessary?
Just in case, sometimes you have actual food over there, which I think is very uncommon, because the fire burns it. The fire burns any chometz there. But you feel Pesach when it has silver foil everywhere, you know? Just don't put silver foil on the couches, it's okay. Yes. Habibi, you have a good question or no?
Now, Professor, I just moved. I know it's off topic. Small walk-in closet that you require Mrs. Zara.
So again, in order for a room to be required for mezuzah, it has to be 4 amot. Yeah, exactly. Now, some walk-in closets are bigger than my living room. You understand? I don't know what walk-in closet you have. But if it's a real walk-in closet, the common custom is not to make a bacha on it. You make the bacha on a regular room in the house, then you can put up a mezuzah over there as well. If it's a regular size, you know how many times in walk-in closets, your wife is going to sit there reading a book, and talking on the phone so you don't hear the conversations. Whatever it is, people do that stuff. Huh? Not that big, huh? I'll tell you the story. Chacham Avadia said when he came to New York in the 1980s, 90s, he stayed by the house of a rabbi in Brooklyn. And he told the rabbi when he came to the house, show me your house, please. Where am I going to sleep? He probably thinks the rabbi wants a tour of the house. Okay, this is your bedroom, called a rabbi. The rabbi says, listen, do you have a chair for me in my room? Yeah, I'll get you a chair, no problem. You figured maybe to put on your shoes or something. I got you a chair. Do you have a night light for me to see well? You open the closet, there's a night light inside here. Oh, Hashem. Shabbat morning, the Rabbanit tells the host, you know, my husband does not sleep Friday night. הוא לומד תורה, because this is on Shabbat, your Torah is worth 1,000 times more than during the week. He took the chair, he sat in the closet the whole night. And he sat and learned Torah the whole night over there. So, b'chol ofen, that would be the situation with that.
That's exactly.
Yeah,
Check,
right.
it's in the closet.
Right. Yes, any other questions, Rabotai, before we wrap it up? Yes? Okay, ברוך ה' לעולם, yeah? אמן ואמן. רבי חנניה, ניהול קדיש?